Well, going back to the second half performance, particularly defensively, listening to Bam, it's just a greater level of communication, which I imagine means a greater commitment to whatever the style and decision that you all make of how you want to approach it.
Yeah, it's communication, it's effort, it's having the resolve and mentality to do tough things. They're a team that can challenge you in a lot of different ways. They space the floor. Then in the second half, they started driving, those gaps quite a bit, and Tatum was able to get to the free throw line. So there are no easy solutions, but it's the playoffs, and you have to wrap your mind around, doing those tough things, things that actually lead to a win.
When you start off on a game three when the series is tied, and maybe it doesn't matter if the series is tied or not, but when the other team's trying to counter your success, do you go right back to what you did, or do you do something oftentimes to kind of just read it and throw
It's
a
a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
No, this is not about scheming, to get a win. You're going to have to do those tough things. This is a competitive battle. You got to win the battles within the battle. The times you're lined up, with somebody that can score and can do it easily. You've got to get a stop there. You've got to make a great defensive rotation. All of those things, they add up, and you got to stack a bunch of plays collectively to put yourself in a position to win. And then also offensively, you have to play well.
So the maturity that Tyler's showing, could a young Tyler do the things he knows, his numbers, or do you think that's a product of this?
It's all of these experiences, and the playoffs kind of reveal everything. You're going to have games where you struggle, and it's how you respond the next day to get better and do what's necessary. And he did what was necessary. The other night they were throwing a lot at him. The play oftentimes was to play make, and then to find his open spots behind the three-point line. It may be different. They may, scheme differently. They might change the matchups. They may do different coverages, and the ball will be in his hands with the responsibility to make the best decision for our team, regardless of what they do.
The BAM with these two franchises, what does it make it mean the last? You guys are 10-10 the last 20 playoff games. The numbers are all steady. What just creates a great back and forth?
I mean, the back and forth and the level of respect and the competition is when you face a team repeatedly, over and over. And this has been for the last, 12 years. We faced them in the early 2010s. It seemed like every year, and now we're facing them every year. That'll create something. That's what franchises want. The consistency of the franchises, starting from the top, ownership to management to coaching staffs. That level of consistency, allows you to rebuild or reload or keep on getting back to the same place. And we're grateful for it. We're grateful for having this opportunity against that franchise and the feelings that come out of that, and grateful to be in the playoffs and just feel the competitive spirit of this time of year.
How important has Bam's screen setting been to the offense, and is that more like art than science in terms of just setting those screens?
He's turned it into art. Yeah, because he does it in all the different facets. It's not just your traditional, I'm going to set a ball screen. He does plenty of those. He takes pride in it, of getting guys open, but he also does it on dribble handoffs. He can do it on pin downs. He can do random ones, that really help our guys get open, particularly our shooters. And then we want it to be a symbiotic relationship too. When he's getting guys open, we want to also get him the ball, where he can be in his strength zone.
Kind of connected to that, just the Bam Tyler two-man game. How much of the growth with that two-man game was on display in game two, and just kind of working the offense through the way Boston was defending it?
Yeah. It's not rocket science that they're going to be heavily involved in our offense. They know that. We know that. There's going to have to be different layers to it. You can't just do the same thing predictably. They'll scheme that, but they've had a lot of collaborations, over the last several years, and it's all those moments and different things that they've experienced together that have allowed us to be able to go to that package.
So what value did you get out of Bam starting positions on tape?
he's our best defender. Is he going to be on him all the time? No. Like, it's just certain periods of the time, and that's what your best defenders will take on those challenges. He's the epitome of being an elite two-way player, so he has to find a way to impact the game on both sides of the floor, regardless of what the matchups are, what the schemes are, what's going on. You got to put your imprint on the game.
On that same note, you're trusting Nico to switch on to Tatum specifically quite a bit. How far has Nico come for you to be able to trust him to do that?
Yeah, he's really worked at his defense, and also Nico can do multiple schemes now. Whether we do that, or not, he knows our system now, so that's taken some time, and just understanding how important every single possession is. All those habits during the regular season, it's like tenfold. You get to the playoffs, he has an idea of that now.
So do you get a sense of how much confidence these guys have in you? Because Bam says, Spo's going to do what Spo does. Do you get that sense?
No, it's not about that. No, I'm not out there, playing. It's a collective competitive spirit. The playoffs are so competitive. The margins for error are so small, and there are, a couple hundred plays that need to be made, and how many of those can you win, as a basketball team. And, that's usually what it comes down to, are those plays, from your most competitive guys.
Speaking of like that competitive spirit, you guys obviously won Game 2 in Boston. Boston's been very good on the road in the last couple of years. What do you think the mentality is that's needed to be a successful road playoff team?
I mean, that's a deep question, but we know what Boston's, going to come in here with. And even knowing that, it's hard to create that edge, that urgency, all that. We had an unbelievable sense of urgency after Game 1 of getting absolutely embarrassed and feeling a certain way about that, and having that extra day to sit with that is horrible. And that can be motivating, and I'm sure Boston feels the same way. So, we're going to have to beat them, I'm sure, at their best version of what they bring.
Going kind of back to the Heat-Celtics rivalry, it's been, 9 games now with you facing Joe Mazzulla since he's taken over. What have you learned about him and kind of what you anticipate him bringing into this game?
Yeah, he's very well schooled. I mean, he's a good coach. What they do makes sense, and that's why they've had a big margin of error. They played a high level of basketball for a long period of time under him, and you have to respect that for sure.